Alright, video, yes. A nice day, but it's going to rain probably again. And I'm running out of shoes. Yeah, this is really terrible. Anyway, that's really irrelevant. Okay, I'll get to the point. Alright, the subject, two subjects I think, kind of related. Yet Drake equation shit again. I mean, people just keep commenting. It's like, I wish I could just say, no, shut up, we've already dealt with this. But you can't do that. It's like this whole that's one of the failures of this YouTube thing, is that there's no way to end arguments. People just keep regurgitating the same shit, and you just can't point to, well, go look at this video, because they won't do it anyway. And it's like, damn, that's irritating. I wish there was just some way to finalize arguments and just say, there, we've argued it to death, you lose, fuck you. I don't want to hear it again. But you can't do that. It's like To Be Serious is bringing up this like cooperation stuff again, this whole whatever it's called, game theory stuff, you know, like you win if you cooperate, and like there's not even a circumstance in nature where you even have that circumstance of any kind of real cooperation. I mean, it's not like one tribe has, you know, arrows and the other tribe has arrowheads, and you know they make some fair exchange. It doesn't really work that way. In, you know, most interactions aren't that convenient. It usually is more about like, you know, you have oil on your property and I want it and I'm going to take it and you're going to be dead. That's usually the cooperation. You know, all the cards are in one guy's hands, or all the powers in one guy's hands, but there's no like equality that they come to the table with for any of that game theory crap to work. So anyway, I didn't want to get on that subject first. I want to dispose of this Drake shit. So in a conference reports video, some guy just, you know, commented the typical stuff. Well, gee, it seems like evolution would find a way. Evolution just keeps evolving and stuff, and you know, it just evolves, and it evolves and evolves and evolves, and so why wouldn't it evolve into all this stuff? And Fred just basically said, oh, you might be right, which is kind of irritating. No, it just ignores the evidence. What we know as intelligent organisms is that there can be bizarrely improbable events can take place. You know, one-time events, like a planet, you know, looking like the Earth, little blue ball-y kind of thing or something, a sun supernovas or something, but the planet gets pushed out of the orbit first, and so it doesn't disintegrate, and it flies through, you know, to whatever, you know, thousands of light years of space, and it shows up in our solar system and crashes into the Earth. I mean, it would be improbable, you know what I'm saying? You could run the universe a gazillion times, and you can never make that happen twice, kind of a thing. You know, kind of if we imagine it as a non-deterministic universe, which it, you know, from our perspective, it seems like, well, that's a whole nother subject, determinism, because that's just an illusion. I mean, there really is no such thing as probability. I mean, probability is just a concession to our ignorance. See, I mean, I don't know how probable is that tree's going to fall on me. You know, it happens. A certain number of people, a tree is going to fall on them every year. You know, kill them. A tree is going to kill them. You know. But anyway. So yeah, there's certain circumstances, like having a tree fall on you and then having another tree fall on top of that tree after it already squished you. You know, what's the odds, right? How many times did you have to stir the universe to have that result pop out? I guess that's the point here, is the stirring thing. So anyway, you know, the other guy quoted that stupid Dyson guy again, who somebody should call out because it's really bad math to make this stupid. He talks about arrogance of the humanity to assume we're the only life form. No, it's arrogance to, without any fucking evidence, to draw the conclusion that it happens all the time. That's fucking arrogance. The only evidence we have is one sample. You can't judge from one sample. You can't draw a conclusion from one sample. It's not enough rolls of the dice. It doesn't tell you anything about the dice. It doesn't tell you how many faces are on the dice. It doesn't tell you how many numbers are on the dice. And every single, I've made this point, but every lottery winner is never going to really appreciate how unlikely it was that they won. They're always going to say, hey, that was easy. So yeah, we're sitting here saying, oh yeah, well, we're complex, but oh, we're not that complex really, you know, penis, mouth, yeah, it's pretty simple, blah, blah, blah. But now, come on. It's bizarrely complex chemistry going on. Billions of cells working together, so to speak, acted to be serious, working in selfish unison, and basically in a slave state. I mean, my liver is a slave. It doesn't choose to be a liver. It's just imposed on it. It's required to be one. It never got a vote. You know, it couldn't decide to be something else. So that's another flaw in this whole game theory thing, is most of these cooperations, what these people are calling altruism, no, that's called slavery. It's not altruism when you're extorted into doing it. You know, then it's called slavery. So that's all kind of bullshit. I know I'm mixing subjects here. It's really not too good. But anyway, that Dyson's guy really pisses me off. So does that Hawkins guy. They're both outrageous. They've committed a crime against mathematics, against probability. Because you can't draw the conclusions they're drawing. The only conclusions that are really allowed based on the evidence are the exact opposite conclusions. Because we don't have more than one event, and the mix has been stirred zillions of times. You got to say, hey, all that stirring and it only happened once? Hell, this is not common shit. This is very uncommon shit. And then, you know, even look at the human example. You know, why? 4 billion years of life on Earth, and only one organism does this intelligence thing? Why? And the answer is because an incredibly improbable event had to take place. Where, basically, I mean, if you look at the other higher mammals, they're not doing anything much better. Oh, damn. Another wet foot. They're not doing anything much better than a dragonfly. I mean, they're just doing the basic game, you know, consume and reproduce. They're doing it very efficiently. They're doing it with a little bit of flair, their own little character. They have to go out there and catch mosquitoes and eat them and blah, blah, blah. So they're certainly just as competent as a wildebeest, and they're flying on top of that. And the point is, they don't need to do any better. They don't need a bigger brain to accomplish the mission. And that's always what it's about, is the damn mission, which is just consumption and reproduction. You know, evolution doesn't really care about anything else. And having extra features or extra toolkit, most of the time or often, that toolkit can just be a waste. It can just get in your goddamn way. It's not going to make you more capable. It's just going to slow you down or make you more vulnerable rather than durable. I mean, we certainly can see that in ourselves. We certainly become physically rather anemic because of our dependency on this brain. But anyway, look how we acquired it. We acquired our intelligence, the capacity to be intelligent, to be vastly more intelligent than we were when we acquired it. So we got a tiny, tiny evolutionary benefit 200,000 years ago, or 300,000, 400,000, a tiny advantage that was survivable. And hundreds of thousands of years later, we would exploit that advantage that was given to us then to create all of our book learning, all of our science, all of our knowledge, all of our language. All of that stuff came much, much later. So that in itself is we can just imagine it. We can just model that in our heads and say, how preposterously strange. How often in evolution does evolution give an organism a hugely powerful, advantageous tool that it doesn't use for 200,000 years? Oh, yeah, right, never. That's how often that happens. So it was a bizarre, perfect storm of circumstances that enabled us to do this intelligence thing. Because nature likes to do things, evolution tends to do things incrementally, you know, one word at a time. And you can't do language one word at a time. You either do the whole thing or you do none. But you won't get anywhere with a half a language. You won't get anywhere brilliant. You'll only get somewhere like me put stick in hole to catch termite. You know, you won't do much better than that. You know, unless you create the full language, the full earth modeling, world modeling language. Yeah, so right there we have evidence of an irregularity, an unusual event that may or may not happen. If we stirred the world 200 million years ago, and we just stirred the gene pool up, how many stirrings would it take before we had another creature pop out of there that had the capacity to do this language thing? So right there we could be facing impossible odds. Life might have never gone further than the dragonfly model, the 300 million year old, durable, working, functional. Nature doesn't even need to evolve it one iota. It just stays the same for millions of years because it's perfectly functional. It's eliminated all its realistic vulnerabilities. It's completely capable of exploiting diverse environments, diverse temperatures, diverse conditions. It's a tough little beastie, and so it wins. And that over time would always win until meteors crash into the earth and everything's stirred up again. So anyway, so yeah, going back to the abiogenesis thing, you know, we have the evidence of the fact that with all of our brain surgery, you know, moon rocket science, we can't manufacture one of these things. Then we have the evidence that nowhere on this huge, giant ball of carcasses, of life carcasses, has a second form of life arisen. Nowhere. Not even not in a bowl of cereal, not on a lump of shit. Nowhere has it found any way to survive, you know, long enough.
There's a raccoon over here. Right here in these. I just saw it run by.
Yeah, well, he's probably okay if he was running. Hopefully. Yeah, well, I don't see him.
He ran to the other side.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna worry about it. Until he bites me. Anyway, yeah. Rabid raccoons. Attack. That's nature for you. Yeah. Rabies, what a great invention. What was God thinking there? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so this whole Drake equation thing just doesn't go anywhere. All we know is it's this really rare chemistry. There's a lot of circumstances to our creation that seem quite bizarre. It's incredibly complex chemistry. There's no reason to assume evolution is just going to make these things. It's just going to happen every time. Oh yeah, it made it. Oh yeah, it did it. Oh yeah, it got over that hurdle. Oh yeah, warm blood. Yep, did it. You know, there's a ton of these things that just aren't going to happen. And things like consciousness or sentience, feeling, this whole idea of creating the illusion of a welfare inside of our heads, probably not real simple, you know, probably a little bit complicated. Really hard to imagine that just poofing regularly. You know, you just stir up a bowl of oatmeal and all of a sudden it's, you know, educatable. No, I don't think so. Where else do I go with this? Yeah, so anyway, I guess I'll just finish up and I'll do a little bit on this game theory thing. So the basic game theory thing is that, yeah, if you cooperate, you both win, so it's like a +2. If you basically fuck the other guy, it's a +1, because you'll usually better off if you fuck him first, because he's going to try to fuck you. You know, and then if you both have the fuck you attitude, you both probably lose. So that's a negative. But yeah, that's just the way it is, because we're always negotiating from our gain. And like I said, you're not going to find any natural examples of any true altruism. Like the little fish that clean the big fish, right? They're not doing it to be altruistic. They don't, like if the fish has a bent fin, they don't fix his bent fin. All they're doing is getting their meal. And that's all they're doing. They're taking. They're not giving anything. All right? They're not sacrificing anything. They're not surrendering anything. So there's no give here at all. There's just take. And the other fish who's getting the manicure, he's not giving anything either. He's not giving a little fish advice. He's not telling them stories. Not giving them a DVD copy of Godfather or something. He's not doing any of that. He's not being friendly or nice. He's just taking advantage of a bunch of little fish willing to eat parasites. And so it's a mutually selfish arrangement where no one sacrifices anything, no one gives anything, no one pulls any money out of their pocket and says to the other guy, here, have some money. No. So there's no point in talking about it as if, there's no point in abusing the word altruism with these natural examples, because none of these natural examples involve anything but either tremendous exploitation, outright slavery, like in bee colonies where you just create a slave race to do your work for you, extortion, abuse, rape, pillage. That's all this is. It's parasitical in nature. And so it's just kind of silly, this whole prospect. The only thing that can help us, we can do altruism because we can understand it as a concept, but you're not going to do it naturally. It's something you have to do because you understand it. You understand that it's a bigger donut that exists out there in your imagination. If you do the right thing, it's like a big donut. And yeah, you'll never get to eat it. You'll never have it. But you just know that it will be eaten. It will be had. And it'll be really yummy. And so we can do that with our brain. We can understand that something's in the best interest of something else. And that something else is more valuable than us. We can understand that. And that's the only way this altruism thing is going to happen. It's not going to happen genetically or physically. It's got to happen intellectually. All right, enough. The end. Thank you very much.